This popped up on my feed. It's January 22nd, 2026. And I admit, and maybe it's just because I don't watch as much TV as I used to. There goes all the ads. I didn't even know the Oscars were happening tonight. I had zero idea that they were happening. I don't think I've watched them in years. Yeah, okay, so according to this article, it's the official Oscar season again. I didn't know that. The countdown begins early Thursday, January 22nd, when Danielle Brooks and Lewis Pullman, I like Lewis Pullman, unveil nominees for the 98th Academy Awards. The announcement kicks off at 5:30 a.m. Pacific time. We'll stream across Oscar.com, Oscar.org. Remember then when this stuff was actually another ad. Oscar.org. Remember when this was actually just on TV, including TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube. Viewers can also catch the reveal on ABC's Good Morning America with ABC News Live. I didn't even know ABC was still a thing. ABC News Live and Disney Plus and Hulu. I don't have Instagram. I don't have Facebook. I do have YouTube, obviously. I don't have Disney Plus. I did for a while. Didn't watch it. I don't think I'll be watching the Oscars. I admit I'm not trying to be a Debbie Downer, but I don't know. I keep saying this in videos about a lot of things. There are things I do care about, but I just don't really care. I think the numbers are kind of agreeing with me. Have a look. One right after COVID, it was a record low. It makes kind of sense. 10.4 million. Then 2022, 16.6 million viewers. 2023, 18.8 million viewers. 2024, 19.5. And that, I remember that was driven by the Barbenheimer phenomenon. Oppenheimer, awesome movie, Chris Nolan. Can't wait to see The Odyssey. 2025, 19.7. So I guess people do care. People are watching. However, even YouTube analytics noted the numbers are still low. Despite the recent rise, the viewership is still far below the 30 to 40 plus million from the previous decades. The decline is attributed to the shift in media consumption from short form to long, or from short form and social media content. Audiences have not been seeing, the nominated independent films. And this kind of makes sense. I mean, streaming platforms are changing. Television's not, they wouldn't really watch conventional TV anymore. I know I don't. The Oscars are going to move exclusively to YouTube in 2029, which is pretty crazy. It'll be free, so it'll probably get a lot more clicks. But again, it goes back to my hypothesis that I don't think these individual shows are actually raking in the numbers that they want to, and they can't stand on their own. So we kind of companies need to package them in order to make any type of profit, all in this case, in a subscription service, although you can watch YouTube for free, but you can pay YouTube Premium. So there's no ads or anything like that. But again, as a moviegoer, and I've talked about this, and just as a very regular person, I remember, I'm carbonating myself again. I'll keep saying that. I remember, you would follow celebrity culture in the early 90s and 2000s. And now it's just become to a point where, I don't know, like these award shows come and go. There's that famous clip of Ricky Gervais, and this is at the Golden Globes. I think this encapsulates it pretty well. Keep in mind, this was from 2020, but I think we all remember this, but this one part, I think, kind of encapsulates it, at least for me, pretty well. Well, I don't watch as much as I used to, and I think that's a good thing.
Wouldn't you? So if you do win an award tonight, don't use it as a platform to make a political speech, right? You're in no position to lecture the public about anything. You know nothing about the real world. Most of you spent less time in school than Greta Thunberg. So if you win, right, come up, accept your little award, thank your agent and your God.
I think we all know what he was saying, but I think it rings true. And remember, that was in 2020. I don't know. The entertainment industry is changing so fast. I think, we lived in, I was, young enough to live in an era where celebrities, there was this kind of mystique around them, where you would see them in movies, you'd see them in previews, you'd see them on the red carpet. If you had TV and you had, whatever, I didn't really have television. I didn't have television growing up. But other than that, you didn't really know much about them. And then came social media with tons of exposure, uh, celebrity day in the life, and that allowed celebrities to reach audiences they could never reach before. But it also, you know, there's also the opposite effect where there's overexposure, right? And where now it's like being a celebrity, I don't think is what it used to be. And I think we're seeing that in the numbers in these award shows. They're saying people are rising, but I don't think people are tuning in as much. And even if they are tuning in, are they reacting as much as they used to these shows? The model in Hollywood is changing so rapidly. I mean, I talked in another video how, and I hope this isn't the case because I love actors. I love good actors. I think we need to employ more and more human beings. But, with all the graphics coming out, Avatar 3, are we going to end up having award shows where we're not even giving awards to actors or to any human at any point? I know I'm going off on a tangent here, but I'm kind of trying to think down the line. Now, all that being said, and this is just kind of the name of the game, you can take this long form content, you can chop it up into clips, and you'll have tons of clips of people reacting to Oscar content, I'm sure. I remember the Will Smith slap and the millions upon millions of videos, memes, just everything that came from that, although that was kind of a moment in time and a blip. So that's not everything happens like that, thank goodness. But on the other hand, there's the long form content, but is the long form content now just going to be the big steak where they're going to chop it up into little pieces and then feed it to you, and that's where they're going to get the clicks? I still wonder, they're going to YouTube, they're going to stream, it's going to stop in ABC in 2028, they're going to YouTube to stream in 2030, as I said. How are they going to rake in the numbers? How is it going to be worth it? Or if they are losing viewers or they are losing numbers, which they're steadily increasing, but they're nowhere near what they were. And I'm sure even though we're seeing raw numbers, I don't think the engagement is what it was. The actual viewer eyeballs watching the ads, the engagement is what it was. So how are they going to keep these things afloat? Are these just kind of legacy shows that one day will just be a thing of the past? And that's not to say award shows should never happen. I think great art should be awarded. But on the other hand, I don't know. Until I saw that article today, I'll wrap it up. I didn't even know they were happening tonight. I probably won't watch it. And that's not trying to be nihilistic or edgy or whatever. I don't know. I'll see a clip on YouTube of some moment of some movie or whatever, and then that'll probably be it. And it'll probably be by an original creator and not even by the Oscars, their official channel themselves. The original creator, good on them, is actually getting that click, that ad revenue and all that. So I keep asking this question over and over. These big companies, the budgets for these shows and movies are shooting to the moon. The revenue that's coming back is starting to decline. Box office, show reviews, legacy shows, Oscars, stuff like that. Eventually there's a cliff. So what happens when we reach the cliff? Are these shows just going to disappear? Is something going to replace them? I don't really know. I'm still trying to figure this stuff out. I'm still trying to figure YouTube out clearly too. But anyways, these are just some of my thoughts. Are any of you actually watching the Oscars tonight? What movies are on the chopping block? I need to Google that. I have no idea. Maybe there's some good ones. Let me know. Let me know what you think. Media is changing so fast. And I mean, change is the only constant. I hope and I think it's for the better, but we still do have these legacy shows like the Oscars. Are they going away anytime soon? They're morphing. I think they're in survival mode. They're trying to survive, but is that going to be enough? I don't know.